This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
All right, Andy,
Yes.
our last episode got 0 watches.
Zero. It can't get
Well,
zero.
it was very low.
Okay. So like,
And the one
was it like
before that
seven?
got the one before that got a lot, right?
Okay.
But you know what we talked about the last one, we didn't talk about the one previous.
What's that?
We talked about the Dark Force
I have
and we talked about the Diddlers.
I,
So
so I have
one of
some.
those is hurting us in the algorithms.
Hold on, you're saying we shouldn't talk about those two things.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I think we should, but we're not getting any views if we do.
I do have one thing to discuss tonight about that certain country in the Middle East, but it's not. We're not going to go in any bad. It's not good for them, but we'll try to
Okay.
keep it clean. I do have one thing we
Okay.
need to talk about tonight.
Let's just call them the Dark Force and
Okay.
and
That
the
one,
Diddlers.
that one country in the Middle East that's not like all the other ones. That's how we'll
There you
describe
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
before we do that, we have to today. So today's Saturday. We're recording. This will be out on Sunday.
Well, hold on. That was my segue into saying
Sorry.
like and subscribe. Hit that like
Yes.
button, subscribe, share it with your friends.
Yes. Apparently, if you subscribe, it really helps in the algorithm. Every podcast I listen to makes it a point to say, please subscribe. It helps in the algorithm. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's real. I don't know.
Yeah. I think
Me and you talk all the time about like what we need to do for the algorithm, but neither of us has taken like 5 minutes to like really look into it. Like we discuss it amongst ourselves, and we don't. Bottom line, like every now and then I'll be like, "Ooh, we got a lot of views. That feels good." But also on the ones where we get like 10 views, I'm honestly not upset. I'm just like, "Okay, whatever." Like I've said before, if somebody's listening to this and really taking our views seriously, like that's a problem. Like you shouldn't care what we have to say about this. So that's my thoughts on that.
I'm actually going to look this up right now. Keywords to say to gain traction in the algorithm on YouTube. That's what I'm going to say. Let's see. Because we need to see these words. Oh, how to. Oh, tutorials and tips. So maybe
Okay.
our title should be
Tonight's
how
tutorial is going to be how
to.
to avoid getting shot by ice in Minnesota. That's going to
There
be
you
our,
go.
yeah.
How
Okay.
to avoid getting
Yes.
shot by ice in Minnesota. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Oh, reviews and best. Those are the ones. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
how
Okay.
to? How
Well,
how do we avoid getting shot by ice?
I hate to say this. The way you do it is you don't show up and make your voice heard. You forget all about the First Amendment. You definitely don't even think about the Second Amendment, and
Mm.
you just give up on the fact that your Fourth Amendment's gone. Okay, so as long as you're cool with losing the First, Second, and Fourth Amendment, and you just stay home and don't complain about the administration, don't complain about anything. That's how you live a good life in America. But
Well, what are we doing right now?
oh well, yeah, well we're at home doing it at least. We're not out in public, but. I'll tell you this. I'm gonna try to make it through this quick without throwing a fit. So woke up this morning. The very first thing I see is a tweet that just says another person was shot in Minnesota, and I was just like, oh God, like okay. I mean, my first thought whenever I see any of that is I'm gonna wait until I see a video because there have been times where I'm like, what? They shot and then you see the video and it's like, oh yeah, that person was being an idiot. So I'm open to I'm a let's wait and see what the footage shows kind of guy. Okay,
Idiocracy is not a reason to shoot somebody.
no, but I saw that tweet and my initial response was to get upset at ICE. But I was like, you know what? Nope. I'm going to wait until I see the footage. And it only took like 20, 30 minutes. And then I saw the footage. The Renee Good shooting that was, what was that, 3 weeks ago, maybe? Like, I feel
Yeah, 3 weeks
that
ago.
it feels like so long ago, but I don't think it was. But that was to me that was damning for the administration. Like, ooh, that's a bad video. Like a lot of people saw that and don't like what ICE is doing. I didn't think it was possible to have one that would be worse than that for the current administration. And the shooting today, in my mind, is somehow worse than the Renee Good shooting. Like it was. I'm not going to play it. Me and you talked about this before we recorded. I don't want to play when people get shot. It's just,
Yeah.
I think we could get away with it with YouTube, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you sent the video to me today and I watched it like first this morning and I was just like I mean, it just like kind of like makes the first hour, the hour after you see it, you're just like, damn, this
Yeah.
sucks. What are we doing?
So And first of all, if you haven't seen the video, it's out there everywhere. It's really easy to find.
Yeah.
But the guy was doing what the typical street protests do. He was standing in the street. He was recording. He let one car go by. The only car that tried to come, he let go by. I don't know if that was ICE or a random person. I couldn't tell. But there were some girls in the street yelling at an ICE official. They go over to the side, and then ICE follows them over, and ICE jacks one of them to the ground, like two-hand pushes her to the ground. This guy, his name is Alex. I think it's Pretty. It's Pretti. However you say that. But Alex is a nurse. He's a nurse at the VA. So he goes over and helps the girl up, and as he's going to bend over to help her up, the ICE guy comes in and starts spraying them both in the face, like from a foot away with pepper spray. So now they're both getting shot with pepper spray. He's trying to help her up, and as he's trying to help her up, they start grabbing him and pulling him back. There's one clip that keeps being shared by like pro-Trump people today, and if you just watch like a 2-second clip, it looks like he's attacking the girl because he's got a hold of her to help her up, and they pull him back, and he then still has a hold of her, so he yanks her back. If you watch a 2-second snippet, they're trying to say, "Oh, look, he was attacking a woman, and that's why ICE had to shoot him." That didn't last long, but that was going around for a minute this morning. Luckily, there's so many videos out. But he's trying to get her up. They throw him to the ground. I think it was 6 or 7 ICE officials jump on top of him, and they're trying to wrestle him to the ground. He's got one hand on his face, and it looked like the other hand was on the back of his head, is what I think. There's several different views. You can watch this.
I heard he had his cell phone in one hand.
Well, the cell phone hand ended up kind of here by, I think, protecting his head. Is because there's, like I said, there's views from every angle. And at one point, I don't think it was a gun, but I don't know what else it would have been. But one of the ICE officers was like hitting him from in the side of the head.
It looked like it was his gun.
He might have been pistol whipping him. I don't know. I couldn't tell what it was. I don't know what else it would have been besides a gun, but he was hitting him in the side of the head. And at that point, his right hand came up like this to like, I think, shield that side of his head. His left hand was near his face and mouth. That's from every angle. That's
he
all
was
you can
coughing
see.
from the pepper spray.
Probably rubbing his eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's on the ground. 6, 7 ICE agents are on top of him, and that's where his hands are. One of the videos, we're going to play it in a second, but one of the videos shows one of the ICE officers, and it's a guy wearing jeans and like a gray jacket, come in from behind, and apparently when they had him bent over on the ground, his shirt came up, and you could see that he had a concealed weapon. He had a 9mm Sig Sauer on a inside the waistband holster. He has a concealed carry permit. It's totally legal for him to be carrying. He's got a gun on him. Let's make sure everybody knows that. So they see the gun. He's not reaching for it at all. And the ICE officer grabs the gun, takes him a second, gets the gun. And then after he removes the gun and takes like a step back, that guy, it appears it was this guy, goes, "Gun, gun, 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 gun." And then several ICE officers open fire on him. 10 shots total. Okay.
Holy.
So according to law enforcement that I've been watching today, when you have the gun safely, you say gun secure, gun secure, gun secure. That's what you would say in that. Now, here's the thing. That might have been a fuck up. Like that very well could have been. These are untrained guys. I don't get why he would take the gun and wait till after he has the gun to yell gun, gun, gun. But he does.
Yeah.
The ICE officer.
But even if he has a gun, it's not that he didn't have it in his hand. He
wasn't reaching for it. He didn't try to pull it. So the ICE officer that ends up shooting him, had the ICE officer that shot him been around on the other side and not seen any of this, then I could be open to the, hey, this is a terrible accident. One guy yelled gun, another guy heard gun and shot. The one that shot him was right next to him, and you can see from one of the angles, he's watching the one guy remove the gun. He's looking down, and he sees him pull the gun out and get it away, and then he opens fire. So it's like that almost can't be a mistake at that point. Had he been anywhere else, yes, maybe, but like he was right there and watched him take the gun off. They shot him once, and he goes down, then they shot him a second time about a second later, and then there was a pause, and then they unloaded 8 more rounds at him as he's laying face up on the ground, not moving. They just hit him 8 more times just for the fun of it, I guess. I don't know what to say. It's maddening to watch. Like it's ridiculous. I'll say this. Even the Trump fans, Tim Pool, even Alex Jones, like the several people were like, this looks bad. Like Tim Pool specifically said, like Trump's not winning this one or something along those lines. But like it's indefensible when you watch it. Like there still are a couple people out there defending it, but for the most part, any rational
defending
person,
that?
They're out. The people on Twitter. It's idiots on Twitter. Mark Wayne
Idiots.
Mullen, my senator in Oklahoma, is defending it. Randy Fine, the congressman that is very pro-Israel from Florida, he's defending it. There's people like that out there defending it on Twitter. Maddening. DHS, and I didn't pull all their statements, but of course they come out right away and they say, oh, I should have pulled their statement, but they basically say, like, this morning while conducting a targeted operation, a protester that was armed came up and was threatening, blah, blah, blah. Nothing like what happened on the video, okay? Greg Bavino spoke, and his statement was almost verbatim to their first post they put out. So let's watch a clip of Greg Bavino. The video has just come out, and I don't know if he knows the video has come out at this point. Maybe he doesn't, but what he says here doesn't match the video at all.
Well, this is their problem, is they seriously just say something without even knowing any of the actual information, without doing an investigation. This is the first administration that does that. They speak before the information actually comes out and they have time to process it and look at it and review it.
The standard thing you would say there is, we're aware that there was a shooting. We're trying to gather the information. As soon as we have all the facts, we'll get back to you. Like, that's the standard thing you say there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyhow, here's Greg Bavino.
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Did he have an additional gun, or was the gun moved from the scene? And I watched the video from start to finish of that woman who was wearing the red jacket, and it doesn't seem like he pulled the weapon at any point. So does the account come from the agent? Did they say that he pulled the gun before, during, after? When does the gun come out?
Again, this situation's evolving. This is under investigation. Those facts will come to light, but let's take a look at the gun. You can see the gun here on the screen there that individual possessed. It appears to be a semi-automatic, high-capacity type, possibly a Sig Sauer 9mm.
All right, no more questions. Sorry, no more questions.
He violently what?
Violently resisted. He didn't take a swing at them or anything. They pulled him to the ground and he went into, like, not the fetal position, but he was protecting his head. He never. I've seen a lot of videos and I've yet to see him, like, strike them, grab them, anything. He wasn't grabbing for his gun. And also the whole thing that they resorted to today, because after she was like, did he brandish his gun? Did he pull it out? Like, what do you do? He's like, I can't remember his initial response, but he's like, well, again, let's look at the gun here. And they keep pointing to the gun, like, look, he had a gun. Oh, okay, let's go back in time real quick. Kyle Rittenhouse, like, let's have a quick refresher on that.
Oh, yeah.
He was carrying an AR on his chest at a protest, and Republicans thought that was just fine. This guy had a concealed weapon that he never reached for, never brandished. Yet
Permanent,
that's not
everything.
right. I will say this, a lot of the pro-gun groups that are normally very Republican are not on the Republican side on this. They've been tweeting out statements all day. So, if you're a pro-Second Amendment guy, it's hard to see this. And it's like, oh, what was his crime? He had a concealed weapon with a concealed weapon permit, and he never pulled it out. That's his crime. Stephen Miller, real quick. Stephen Miller said, a would-be assassin tried to murder federal law enforcement, and the official account sides with, or the official Democrat account sides with terrorists. What's funny is Grok actually did a fact check on him and said videos of the encounter show that the gun was never drawn. The weapon remains in the victim's holster until one agent removes it. After the victim is disarmed, a second agent fires several shots into the unarmed man. So, way to go, Grok. But
You said 10 shots?
10 shots in total. 2 right off the bat, and then after he's down and he's on his back, face up, not moving, 8 more.
How many of them took shots?
I think 2 is what I could count. I think I saw 2 shooting.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So one guy basically almost unloaded his clip, and then another officer just fired a couple just for fun.
Seems like it. I don't. And there's another video from further back where after all 10 shots go off, this one ICE agent's going, he's clapping like, yeah. And then he turns and they kind of give like a, yeah. And it's like, you just killed a guy and you're celebrating. Like,
Yeah, not only a guy, but like a guy who was part of society. Like, I mean, everybody's part of society, but a guy who's a nurse who's helping people.
yeah. There's all kinds of videos of this guy now out and about. There's a video of him because he works at the VA and he's reading the last rites to a veteran that's about to die, and he's standing there and it seemed like a good dude. I don't know. His parents put out a statement tonight that I wanted to pull it, but it's just sad. They're very upset. It starts with saying we're sad and we're angry, and they're very angry that the Trump administration's calling their son a domestic terrorist and this and that, and they're pointing out that like the last act he did in his life was trying to help a girl who ICE was bullying and pushed to the ground.
Yeah. He
Like
was
I said,
only 33, right?
37. I think he was
37.
37. Yeah. But it somehow this is worse than the Renee Good one. Like somehow I don't get it. It's bad. I have a couple more points on this, but real quick, let's get the whole was he armed? Did he reach for his weapon thing out of the way? I got a video for you to watch real quick. Tell me what you're seeing here. So
Empty hand.
that's the
Okay.
guy we're watching the whole time. The guy with the jeans and the gray
Okay.
jacket. Nothing in his hand there.
So it looks like he is resisting, but he's just
Oh yeah, he's getting tackled. So still has an empty hand. Right hand empty.
okay.
Here's where he's removing the gun. The agent just to his right, wearing the tactical vest, is the guy that fires the shots. So he's watching.
He's beating him with something.
They're hitting him in the face.
Yeah,
So
he's
right
hitting him in
here-
the face with something.
Right here,
Gun
he
in
comes
hand.
out with the gun. He's got the gun, and now the guy to his right fires the first shot in just a second. Right there, first shot,
Whoa.
and now.
Yeah,
So-
not good.
So the gun was the gun he never reached for, and they had the gun secure by the time they shot him. So it was a bang bang. It was within a second when the guy pulled the gun out. About a second later is when the shot happened. But the cop that shot him, the ICE officer that shot him, was right there and watched him remove the gun. So
Yeah, we
It's
just
mad.
said we weren't going to show that, and we did.
yeah, sorry, no, that wasn't the angle that's really bad to watch.
Okay.
That's the angle that just shows the removal of the gun.
Okay.
So here's a couple of thoughts on this whole situation, real quick. Okay, first of all, a lot of people have been pointing this out. I'm not the first, but like the whole thing, like you never see Clark Kent and Superman at the same place at the same time, and why is that?
Because it's the same person.
Okay, normally in the past 10 years, anytime the left is out protesting anything against Donald Trump, there's one group that always shows up, and it's the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys is immediately there to counter protest the left and to instigate and to start stuff. Nobody's seen the Proud Boys during all this. Why is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they work as ICE officers.
Oh, yeah, they're all ICE officers now.
They all the Proud Boys that attacked the Capitol and end up getting pardoned by Trump. There's a reason they have masks on and they don't have any identifier. They don't have their name, and their list of who is an ICE agent is top secret. Like they won't let that info out. Why would that be? And why haven't we seen the ICE or the Proud Boys in the same place as ICE ever?
We called this, didn't we? We called it. Those guys were going to be Trump's army.
So here's a fun thing to think about in 3 years, okay? Because in 3 years, let's say a Democrat wins. Gavin Newsom, I don't care. Pick a Democrat.
Okay.
And they come in and
Jon
now
Stewart.
Jon Stewart. Okay, Jon Stewart's the answer. So you have this army of Trump loyalists that are working for ICE. Okay, when he comes in, does he fire all of them? Like, what do you do? What do you do with ICE at that point?
Yeah, fire 'em.
Okay.
All of them.
Now, I'm gonna probably send you some stuff to watch on your own. For anybody at home watching this, look it up. In Iraq, after we killed Saddam Hussein, it was called de-Baathification. The Baaths were the party in control, and we basically fired everybody in the government that was a part of the Baath party. Those people were now out of a job and angry and turned into like the resistance that like basically became Al Qaeda at that point. And like we've learned since then that like at the time firing all them made sense, but in hindsight that created a whole army of people that were had a bone to pick, basically, that were out to get us. So what do you in 3 years, if you do get a Democrat and they fire all these guys, now they are angry. They're not going to get their 50,000 because they didn't hit 5 years, or what is it? Yeah, 50,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They have some military training. They all probably own guns. Like, you've got a little army of people now who really don't like the government or the current administration. Like, that's going to be a problem in 3 years that we're going to deal with no matter, unless another Republican wins, and then we're going to still have them as ISIS. It's a problem either way. So I'm just pointing that out for future, just something else to worry about for the future.
Yeah, and I would say, like, all these bad actors, we should prosecute them.
Yeah, the ones.
But I guarantee you they don't have files on them. Like, they're not putting these shootings in their file.
Or if Trump loses, one of his last acts will be to preemptively pardon all of them for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, this is a problem in 3 years. Is where do all these ICE agents go if a Democrat wins? Like, there's no good scenario. There's no, like, give them their 50,000 and kick them out. They're still gonna be mad. Like, I don't know what you do. So just something to think about. One other video from today in Minnesota that I'm going to show, and it's not of the shooting, but I don't know why this video stuck with me all day. I've watched this video probably 5 times today. This is a 70-year-old man. I don't know his name. I don't even want to set up the video any more than this. Just check this guy out. This guy, just for whatever reason, this video made an impact for me.
Fuck you! Stop! Look out! Damn! Just chill. Okay. I'm fine. I didn't breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old. Fucking angry. Oh, fuck off. I think I'll need it, but we'll try it.
Wow. What a scene in an American city.
Yeah, that's the proper response.
It is, and just it was so fitting how at the end he just disappeared into the smoke cloud from the tear gas or whatever. Like, the frustration, the clear, like that guy's not acting. He's fucking 70 years old and he's pissed, and I just, like, the thing that irritates me most about all this is, like, the one thing that this is doing for them above all else is, like, at the next time No Kings protest rolls around, like, I got to think long and hard about if I'm going to go out to a protest at this point. Like, I got a family, and a lot of people now are going to be less inclined to show up and make their voices heard, First Amendment style, because you could get shot. And as we learned last week from the administration, these ICE officers have total immunity. Total immunity is something that nobody's ever suggested cops get total immunity, but for some reason, Stephen Miller said it, JD Vance said it. Total immunity.
No.
That means anything they do is fine. They can't get prosecuted for.
No. I mean, I keep saying the same thing. This is crazy. We're living in crazy times right now. That was an American city. That is an American city. That's happening right now.
Oh, and there were videos today. All the people around there were taking those big rolling dumpsters and, like, blocking off the street, and it looked like Seattle where they set up the Chaz zone or whatever that they were doing. They were, like, blocking off the street. Also, during the Renee Good shooting, apparently cops from Minnesota, from Minneapolis, showed up and wanted to set up a crime scene and investigate, and DHS kicked them out and they just left. They've taken a lot of heat for that since then. So they showed up today and said, hey, we need to set up a crime scene. And DHS told them, nope, this is ours. Get out of here. So they went and got a warrant from a judge and came back and said, no, someone was shot in our streets. This is a crime scene. We need to start doing all our stuff. And they still told them no. And there was kind of a standoff. I don't know how it ended, but they're not letting the local police even investigate what's going on here. So
I saw something today where I think Tim Walz call on the National Guard today?
He did call in. I don't think they're there yet. He called them up, but I haven't seen video of them actually showing up down there yet.
I think they rolled in today. I think I saw a video of them rolling in today. What does that even mean? Are the National Guard going to stand against ICE?
Nobody. That's the worst case scenario is like federal troops versus local troops, and they get into some kind of an armed conflict. That's the beginning of a civil war type scenario. Like that's a terrible thought that would happen. They're probably the mission is to keep the peace, to keep everybody safe and keep the peace. But at some point, you could have like a head-to-head confrontation, and that's very weird to think about. So I don't want to try to predict that.
Yeah, because they were talking about how they just rolled up and they had pizzas delivered, and then the the National Guard is going to wear like reflective vests over their uniform to differentiate themselves from ICE.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Odds are that the current administration is going to now double down on this. Like they never could retreat, so they have to double down. But before this shooting, they were backtracking a little. JD Vance went to Minnesota this week and gave a press conference. Apparently, he did a roundtable of people to talk about what's going on in Minnesota, and it included people that were for what ICE is doing and people that were against it. So he had a roundtable, then he had a press conference, and at this, he was like, "Yeah, he's like the shooting of Renee Good was terrible. Like ICE also arrested and detained and shipped to Texas a 5-year-old boy from Minnesota this week. I don't know if you saw that story." Yeah. But he was like, I have a 5-year. So JD Vance was trying to be the compassionate one. There's one clip from this I want to play because the whole total immunity thing, he suddenly backtracked on, and it's kind of fucking hysterical. So check this out real quick.
The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity.
No, I didn't say, and I don't think any other official within the Trump administration said that officers who engaged in wrongdoing would enjoy immunity. That's absurd.
He's so stupid.
What was the date on that first clip? That was like a week ago, the first clip. And
I think it was January, hold on, January 8th versus January 22nd. So
okay, 14 days, 2 weeks difference.
2 weeks.
Absolute immunity to 2 weeks later being like, I didn't say, and I don't think anybody in our administration would say that they get immunity. No, that's exactly what y'all said. So now they're backtracking, which is good.
Well, the Trump administration keeps doing this. Trump said he said Iceland when he was referring to Greenland 3 fucking times.
Stop. I have a clip for that later. Hold off on that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I know where you're going.
They do this. They say one thing and then they say, we never said that. And it's like, no, here's your video of you actually saying it.
Yeah. That was funny.
Over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know. What's sad is before this event, it looked like they were looking for an off ramp. It really did. It looked like that the administration was going to try to find a way to not look like they were losing, but they were going to try to find a way to pull out and de-escalate. And now they can't. Now that this happened, every fiber of their bones, they so badly now are going to double down and send in even more people. Which I saw today. They are sending in the FBI and the DEA and like every federal agency you can think. They're surging those people in to protect ICE because ICE is under threat because, obviously they've killed two unarmed civilians in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah, they're the ones that need help. Anyhow, I'm very not pleased with all this. Also, just on looking forward to 6 days from now. Remember how when the Democrats shut down the government back in November, and at the end of that, we were like, hey, this is only a continuing resolution. This only gets us to the end of January. Well, guess what? The government shuts down this Friday if there's not a new budget. Okay, so
nobody's talking about it because all this other crazy crap is happening.
It was making the news late last week because people thought that the Democrats in the House were going to try to hold up the funding because of ICE funding. Because I remember this is when ICE is now getting their biggest, like they're the fifth most funded military in the world or something like that. The Democrats did not block it. In fact, like 6 Democrats voted for the funding bill that included ICE funding. So everybody was upset. It was going to the Senate, and people just assumed since it passed the House, it would probably pass the Senate where it needs 60 votes. Now this has happened. Now you have a lot of Democrat senators that have come out today and have said, no, I'm a no on that aspect of the spending bill. Like, we're going to hold up ICE funding until somebody gets held accountable here. The problem is the House passed, it was basically 6 bills wrapped into one, like an omnibus spending bill, okay? So they passed that, and then they left town early. They left town on Thursday and went on recess because the House is almost never in session, it seems like. So now they're gone this week. So if the Senate says, hey, we'll pass 5 of these, but the 6th one we're not going to pass, well, it's all together in one bill. So it would have to go back to the House, and the House would have to re-vote on just the 5 bills and go to the Senate. The House isn't in session this week, so that can't happen. So unless 6, I think it's going to take 6 Democrats in the Senate are going to have to vote for funding the government and basically piss off every other Democrat. If that happens, the government stays open. If the Democrats stay strong, the government's going to shut down Friday night. And right now, I told you at the time, and you didn't believe me, but I still believe they won the first shutdown. When you just look at the polling that came after that shutdown, the shutdown hurt Trump a lot more than it hurt the Democrats the first time. And that was over health care. Right now, it seems like a lot of, and I'm going to call them the normies, the normal people walking around are not cool with this ICE shit. And if they shut down the government over ICE and the fact that somebody needs to be held accountable, they've got public sentiment. They've got probably 55, 60% of the public. They will win this shutdown too.
So when does the Senate vote on it?
They were going to vote on it Wednesday. It was going to be, and Wednesday was like a procedural vote to allow it to go to a full vote. So the first vote is Wednesday, and they would have to be voted on by the full Senate on either Thursday or Friday. And if it's not passed by the end of the day Friday, it's a shutdown.
So is the House going to get called back into session, or are they going to?
They're going to, no matter what, they're going to try to say no. They're going to be like, no, vote on the bill we passed. They're going to try to play hardball. And then at some point they will, I'm guessing, if 6 Democrats, which you're going to think there's going to be like your Fetterman that's definitely going to vote with Republicans on this, I have a feeling. Sure. But if 6 of them break rank and vote with the Republicans to pass this, those 6 are going to be hearing from the rest of the left, I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
So anyhow, that's just something to think about at the end of this week is possibly another shutdown, which a shutdown would distract from the Epstein files, and it would distract from the Greenland situation, which we're going to get to in a minute. All the other stuff. So I almost think that Trump wouldn't hate a shutdown right now. It's just another thing.
Yeah, everything to distract from everything else is what he wants. Wow, that's so crazy what they're.
Yeah.
So Trump wants to up the military budget as well. Is that in this bit?
That's not till the following. That's the following year. 1.5 trillion, a whole $500 billion more than it was this year. This year was the highest ever at 1 trillion, and now he wants to go to 1.5. So,
what is he trying to do with all that money?
You know, take over a lot of other countries. It seems like that's what it seems like. Like the way he's talking. He probably just wants to take over any country that's weaker than us.
Yeah. What? I mean, when he was in Davos, he came back and said that they had a
hold on. Before we get to Davos, I have one more ICE video, and it's a really quick one, and then let's fully get into Davos here.
Okay.
This was before the shooting, and this is just interesting to me. This lady, and the beginning of the video I cut off for time's sake, but she's filming him. And he turns around and starts filming her. He holds his phone up, and we last week found out that they apparently have some app, and Palantir, who we were talking about, Palantir's the boogeyman. Palantir powers this app, but it's facial recognition software. So if you notice, in a lot of these cases where people are being talked to by ICE and like they're protesting, and then ICE comes over, they always get a picture of them, and it's like, why are they getting a picture? Well, based off that picture, supposedly, they take your picture and right away they can see your first name, last name, date of birth, social security number. Like they have it all. It's in the software. This is what Palantir does.
Can you say, please don't take my picture?
You can try, but they're going to do it. But anyhow, so people are like, well, what are they doing with that? What are we doing with that information? Like, what's going on? Are we going on a list? This guy tells us. So check this out real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
we're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
Every interaction I've seen with ICE is they're just dickheads.
Well, you remember the whole NSPM 7 that redefined what a domestic terrorism is, and a domestic terrorist. We talked about this months ago, but they reclassified the definition of domestic terrorist.
Yeah,
and now it's anybody who doesn't agree with the administration, anybody that doesn't agree with the Christian values, anybody that does. It's all these different things.
What is that called?
Fascism. Yeah. So anyhow, so it does appear that they're creating a database and they're going to use this to say these people are domestic terrorists. And also, one of the many things they're going to try to do is strip their voting rights because of that. Just throwing that out there. Just get ready for that because that's going to happen.
Man, Peter Thiel and Palantir need to fall off the face of this earth.
Yeah. So anyhow, so just throwing that out there. If you're at a protest or a rally or anything, and federal agents start taking your picture, you're in a database now as a domestic terrorist. Like, just know. So anyhow, great news. Let's talk Davos. Trump went to Davos this week. Leading into it, he was talking about how we have to have Greenland. We have to own it. You won't protect a place that you're just renting. You have to own it if you want to protect it. So he was very clear on that, right?
Mm-hmm. He's very clear, 100% clear. I don't know how many times he said it, but it was a lot.
There was no getting around it. He gave his speech, which there were so many clips from his speech we could have pulled, but I had too much for tonight, so I didn't. But his speech was belligerent, and he likes to talk down to Europe, like we're so much better than Europe. And real quick, there's this whole thing where a lot of Americans are like, well, yeah, obviously anybody living in Greenland would want to be part of America. Why wouldn't they? Like this whole thing where we think we're so awesome and our shit doesn't smell like is kind of hysterical to me.
Yeah.
In Greenland, for example, they have free higher education, free healthcare. They have a lot of things. They don't want to be part of America. They've been putting out videos on TikTok and stuff that's like, we don't want Americans coming here. And then it's videos making fun of Americans, basically being drug addicts, being overweight, like all this stuff. And they don't want to be a part of us.
Yeah, they have free healthcare.
Real quick, check out this little thing I found online.
Okay. Oh, life expectancy is 4 years more. Infant mortality rate is way lower. Poverty
Almost
rate
half.
way lower. Public debt, oh, yeah, it is 40% lower. Top 1% wealth share, negative 25% versus 40%. Oh, so that seems good.
Income inequality doesn't seem to be a problem in the EU, but anyhow, continue.
Student debt, they have zero student debt. We have an average of $40,000. I guess that's per student.
Probably.
Or is that per person? I don't know.
Not
Homicides.
Sure.
What is that?
2 per 100,000.
2 per 100,000. We have 5 per 100,000, so more than double. Prison population, 111 per 100,000. We have 531 per 100,000.
That's 5 times as many of our population is in prison.
That's insane.
Yep.
Women in the workforce, we have 71%. They have 57%. Workplace deaths, they have 1.63. We have 3.5 per 100,000 deaths in the workplace.
Here's the thing. I love America. Like I love America. I think America has the potential to be a great country. So I'm not trying to act like I don't love America. But this whole thing where we think that like we are the best and we're the only one with freedom and this and that, like, hey, like there's a lot of people that say that shit that have never traveled outside the US. That's all I'm going to say. Like everybody should have to travel outside the US because you'll learn like, oh, everybody's kind of got free. Not everybody, but a lot of these countries have freedom and they got it pretty good.
Yeah. Then they have free healthcare and free education and oh yeah, it's kind of nuts. And they don't have to deal with what we have to deal with. Like the prison population is kind of crazy. Like worrying about going to prison for something stupid like marijuana or something, you know.
That's just interesting. But so anyhow, so Trump declared victory after he had a speech and then he met with the general of NATO. So this guy doesn't represent any country in particular. His name's like Mark Rutte. And they call him the Trump whisperer because he's really good. Like if he gets alone one-on-one in a room with Trump, he can get Trump to see NATO's point of view really easily. He does really good with him. So he goes in and meets with this guy and then he comes out and the press is waiting. And hold on, let me back up real quick. I called you on the night before he flew to Davos. I'm going to try to say this in the best way I possibly can. But I'm looking at Twitter, and all of a sudden I see, Air Force One is a third of the way across the Atlantic, and it's having to turn around and come back to America. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, they don't turn around unless there's, like, a major mechanical problem or somebody on board is having a medical issue. And I'm not going to lie. For a little bit, I was like, oh, it'd be a real shame if something happened to that plane, because I don't know who else on that plane. I'm going to guess Bissett, Stephen Miller, Trump. I don't know if JD was. I'm thinking JD probably wasn't there, but it would have been a shame if something happened there. They made it back just fine, and then they ended up hopping on a different plane and getting over there. But for a short little bit, I was like, that just. I don't know what else to say other than it would be a shame. Anyhow, so he comes out after his meeting with Mark Root, and the press is waiting for him. And he basically says, we have the framework of a deal. I have a clip here.
Was this after he called Greenland Iceland 3 times during his speech?
This was after, and I have a clip for that later.
Okay. And I have another question for you. Why did he mention Minnesota like 5 times in his speech?
And the
in
Somalians.
the international stage.
And he was he was talking about the Somalians, and he actually was like, well, it turns out they're not as low Q as I thought they were. At one point he said they're not as low IQ as they look, or something like that. And it's like, that's racist as hell, but let's blow by. He's saying all kinds of other terrible stuff, so that gets lost in the shuffle. But yeah, he went on and on about Minnesota and Somalians and all that. And overall, the rest of the world has to be watching him speak at Davos. And also, Davos, like, Biden never went to Davos. Obama never went to Davos. W never went to Davos. Like, it's like for a long time, Republicans have been against the Davos crowd, the Bilderberg group, all that. These are the billionaires that control the world. Like, they've been very against it. And now Trump goes and they're like, yeah, he's going to Davos. And it's like, it'd be better if he didn't go to Davos at all. If every president, I don't want them going to Davos. Anyhow, he comes down the stairs and says he has the framework of the deal. Here's this is from CNN. This is Caitlin Collins asking him about the deal. Tell me how sure you are that he has a firm and cement deal here.
Does it still include you? Does it still include the United States having ownership of Greenland like you've said you wanted?
It's a long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
Have you how long is it, Mr. President?
Have you already spoken to other European leaders?
Yes, I have.
How long would the deal be, Mr. President?
Infinite.
Will there is no
time limit. It's forever.
And how would you ratify the deal?
It's signed forever.
But you haven't signed anything yet, right?
It's a deal that's forever.
Will there be an effect anyway, Mr. President? Will there be an effect?
What happens is people are out there and they're working it right now. They're working the details of the deal, but it's what's called an infinite deal. It's forever.
You talked about.
He looks shaken.
Yeah, he wasn't doing good there. And also, so let me defend him a little bit. Jet lag. He flew a red eye overnight, and as soon as he landed, he got taken straight there and went straight on stage to speak. And then he went into meetings afterward. He's 80. What is he? 79. If me or you did a full day here and then jumped on a plane and flew all night, and as soon as we landed, gave a speech to the world and then went into meetings, we'd have been tired afterward, let alone a 79-year-old guy. So I'll give him something there. Okay.
Do you think he has a bet on the plane? I bet he has a bet on the plane.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, he probably had a bet on Air Force One, but then they had to jump on the backup plane. I don't know what the backup plane situation is.
It's probably set up the same way the other one is.
Could be. He might have had to just ride first class the whole way. I don't know. I have no clue what the. Anyhow, I'll give him a break on that. But he wasn't ready with his usual lies. Like he's coming down the escalator. He knows they're about to ask him all of this, and he seemed caught off guard by it. He was like, yeah. And so the New York Times came out almost immediately afterward, and they said sources in Trump's administration are saying that Greenland is going to give sovereignty to certain areas where we're going to put our military bases. So wherever we're going to put a military base, we're going to have sovereignty over that piece of land, which is already the way it works. If there's a U.S. military base in any part of the world, any military base or embassy, the second you step foot on the base or the embassy, you're on American soil. That's the way it is everywhere. But Mark Root, Trump doesn't know that. So Mark Root was like, hey, let me tell you, we're going to let you put as many bases as you want there, which was already the deal. And we're going to let you have sovereignty over that land. And Trump probably heard that and was like, oh, great. That's awesome. That was already the deal. So,
and he's going to call to win.
Oh, and that's the whole, MAGA came out right afterward, people on Fox News and Newsmax, and they were like, oh, this is the art of the deal. Anybody who hasn't been paying attention to Trump doesn't know, but he comes in with this really high demand, but what he really wanted was this. And actually, this is better because we're getting to put our bases there and we don't have to pay for anything. So this is really a better than trying to buy it. And it's like, this was already the deal.
Fox News is becoming more and more insufferable.
Yeah.
Every time I see a clip of the 5, I'm just like, are you serious, Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters? Like, you guys have no moral compass. I don't know what it is. Hannity, too. That motherfucker is, I think Hannity's smart.
Here's the thing. Back in the day, people like during the first Trump term, everybody was hating on CNN, which I'm pretty sure they still do. They just don't talk about it as much. And they would point to like Don Lemon and be like, look at Don Lemon. And it's like, well, Don Lemon's the 9 o'clock show. He's the show on at 9 o'clock at night. And he's an opinion show. Like when they go into prime time, it's opinion shows.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you kind of can't hold the whole network responsible for what the 9 o'clock opinion show's doing. Like Tucker Carlson back in the day on Fox is like that. The problem is, the 5 is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern. So it's not really prime time, but it's in that same vein. I will say during the day on Fox News, they'll bring on some people like Brit Hume and people like that will just call it like it is and be like, oh, the Trump administration's wrong here. So there's a patch of time during the middle of the day where Fox News is being honest with their viewers. But then as soon as the 5 hits from the 5 on, it's the 5 and then Laura Ingraham and Hannity and I don't know who else. And those are all the opinion shows. And yes, those are worse than they've ever been. But during the day, there is a period of time between Fox and Friends and the 5. There's a period in the middle where they're a little bit more honest. So they're still kissing his ass, but they're at least a little bit more honest. So I'll give them that.
Okay.
So, now they are trying to say art of the deal and all that. So at this point, like, everybody wants to call Trump a taco. Oh, he tacoed out again. You know, Trump always chickens out. But it's like, hey, he's not going to try to take over Greenland anymore. Take the win. Stop making fun of him. If we keep making fun of him for tacoing, he's going to be back on it. And now he already is back on it because Denmark came out right away and said, hey, we never agreed to anything like new. This is still the original deal. And then Mark Rutte, the NATO general, went on Fox News and they asked him, they were like, so what is this about sovereignty? And he said, oh, we never even talked about like Greenland sovereignty in the meeting, me and Trump. We just talked about the fact that he could have military bases. And anyhow, so what Trump came down the escalator and claimed the framework was, both Denmark and NATO say, no, we never discussed any of those things. So now he's kind of back on the whole, he's being mean to Greenland again. Let's hope it goes away. During his speech at Davos, though, as you pointed out a couple times, he did confuse Greenland and Iceland a couple times. This is one of those where they could real easily just say, yeah, he confused them, or just not address it. Like people were pointing it out on Twitter, but they could have just not said anything and it would have gone away.
Yeah.
I was going to pull all the clips, but I feel like Jake Tapper did a really good job of just summarizing it for us. So let's check that out real quick, and then I'll get your response.
Earlier today, in a speech in Davos, Switzerland, President Trump at least 3 times referred to Greenland, a territory he wants to seize or purchase from Denmark. 3 times referred to Greenland as Iceland. When a reporter went on X and pointed this out, the White House press secretary, whose salary your tax dollars pay for, wrote, quote, no, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up here. Okay, I mean, you know that was filmed, right? Let's roll the tape.
When I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy. Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
This all reminds me of this great, horrifying quote from George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, quote, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. But we don't live in 1984, and we don't have to reject the evidence of our eyes and ears. We know that he confused Iceland with Greenland or Greenland with Iceland. And I mean, you can lie to us if you want, but I don't know why it's worth it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The worst part of that was Carolyn Levitt. Like her and Christy Noem will lie so brazenly about something that's on film. Like, and
well, even JD Vance, we just showed that JD Vance clip.
But
like, They all do it.
Carolyn Levitt there. No, he didn't. His written remarks, blah, 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 blah. You're the only one confusing things. We all saw it. What do you're losing all credibility. Like,
the whole world saw it.
It's bad. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say is it's bad. And then we're also about to fight because going into Davos, he's been threatening Europe with all kinds of stuff. Europe is fighting back. Europe has been dropping our T-bills. So now this is in the weeds, but like 3 weeks ago, the Trump administration had the Treasury buy a whole bunch of mortgage bonds. And in doing so, they bought like 200 million or 200 billion. I can't remember what it was. And they drove down the interest rate on houses by like almost a whole percent. So like, yay, that's a win for them. Then after he was talking all this shit to Europe, they started selling all of our T-bills. And that drove the interest rates right back up to where they're right where they were. They're at 6.9% on average. So he's got to stop picking fights. Like, each one of those European countries alone can't really affect us too much, but if they bond together as the EU and all do something in unison, they have the power to hurt us. Canada also has the power to hurt us. And like, if we got into a trade war with Canada, like they would hurt more than us, but we would still hurt. Like, that's very key to know. We've been doing this whole trade war with Canada. Trump's always arguing with Mark Carney, their leader. He's a former central banker. Like, he understands economies and finance. He's more equipped for this fight than Trump. He basically signed the framework of a trade deal with China a week and a half ago, and China's going to let them send their dairy and meat and all kinds of stuff over there tariff free, which that stuff they used to sell to America, but we put a 25% tariff on it. So then now they're like, oh, we'll just sell it to China for no tariff. So awesome. Win-win for China and Canada. And then in return, Canada, at our request, Canada has had a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, like the, I can't think of the name, BYD and all them.
Yeah.
Because we asked them to. So they said, hey, we're going to drop our tariff. We're going to let you bring 50,000 cars in per year. When Trump first heard this, and this is just one of those where showing the discrepancy, I guess. When Trump first heard this, here was his response.
How do you see the deals Canada and China have just signed, trade deals between the two partners?
Well, it's okay. That's what he should be doing. I mean, it's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. If you can get a deal with China, you should do that.
What?
It's a good thing. That's what I would have done. Like, if he can get a deal with China, he should do it. That was his response, okay? And then Besant and Lutnick have been going nuts about this because they realize this is bad for America. Like, Canada just cut us out of the deal, and the rest of the EU might take a look at that and be like, oh, wow, like, why aren't we doing that? It'd be the smartest move for them, honestly. So they're being very bombastic with their rhetoric and all that. So after they basically convinced Trump to get mad about this, Trump came out with a tweet. I think this was just yesterday. If Governor Carney, which now he's calling Mark Carney the governor again, like he was doing Trudeau, but if Governor Carney thinks he is going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the United States, he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming to the USA. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So, as I understand it, this deal is already signed. This is a done deal, but he's threatening, like, if they go through with this, he's going to do 100% tariff. I think they've already gone through with it. So if they're going to do 100% tariff on us, or if we're going to do it on them, they're going to do something back to us. They're going to retaliate. Also, we get a lot of oil from Canada right now. And I know we got the Venezuela oil coming right now, but okay, you want to tariff that 100%? What's that going to do to energy costs? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's needless fighting.
He's such a baby, man. He is such a little child with these tariffs.
Ooh, speaking of energy costs, what is today's date? Today is the 24th of January. The day we post this will be the 25th. We are 5 days past the 1 year mark of Trump. Okay, we're 5 days into year number 2. Mm-hmm. Check out this clip real quick from Trump running for office a year and a half ago.
Under the Trump economic plan, we will cut your energy prices in half mark it down, and you can get very angry at me if we don't do it. Within 12 months, your energy prices will be cut in half.
Just for the record, energy prices on average are up 10 to 12% in America. So in certain cities, they've gone up a lot more. But yes, energy prices have gone up since Trump took office. Mark it down, and you can get very mad at me if I don't do it. But I'm going to cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. Well, we're at 12 months and 5 days, and everybody's energy prices have gone up. So
interesting. Yeah, promises made, promises kept, right?
Exactly.
This guy is a nightmare. Oh my gosh. How many more years?
2 years, 360 days.
Oh,
That's it.
We're just counting down the days.
My daughter asked me, I made a comment. I was like, I can't remember what I was talking about, but I was like, we got 3 more years of this. And she piped up from the back seat and she was like, wait, Trump's going to be president for 3 more years? And I was like, yeah, you're going to be 14 before Trump's out of office. And she was like, no. And I was like, yep, sorry. Most of your teenage years are going to be dealing with Donald Trump. So have fun with that. That's all I got. What else you got for tonight, buddy?
Well, let's stick with Trump for a second. I think it was the New York Times came out with an article saying that Trump has gained $1.4 billion in the first year of his presidency.
So I actually read that whole article, and that's just what they can account for. That doesn't take in some of his crypto things that he doesn't have to file anything on that. So he's made more than 1.4, but what we can actually track is $1.4 billion he's made this year on being president.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. All right. I got something funny for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So as an ex-Republican, how do you feel about Marco Rubio?
Oh, not good now. In 2015, when he and a couple others were like standing up to Trump, I was for Marco. If you go way back to when Obama was president, there was a State of the Union that Obama gave where Marco Rubio was chosen to be like the Republican response. And he looked like a deer in headlights. And at one point he needed a sip of water while he was talking. And he was like trying to look at the camera, but also trying to get his water. And he like drank his water and then but always, it was the most awkward thing ever. So everybody made fun of Marco after that for like the next couple of years. Then he was a candidate for president all of a sudden. And he was one of the ones standing up to Trump. And if you remember, during the debates, he made the comment about like Trump having small hands, so you know what else is small, and basically insinuated that Trump had a small dick. So for that period of time, I was like, ugh, like I could do a President Marco Rubio, like let's do this. And he, for like a year or two into Trump's first term, he was standing up to Trump. Ever since he flipped to be a Trump kiss ass, I don't like Marco Rubio.
Yeah, even when he was standing up to him, he was a little creature. Like he always had this slimy little swamp creature vibe to him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't seem confident in himself, right? And you talk about him drinking water. He drinks water in the weirdest way. And shout out to what's his name? Kyle Kalinske for pointing this out. I had to go through and watch this whole 2-hour video, and he's speaking for 2 hours, but check out this video, Rubio, and tell me what you think.
Gentleman right there with the glasses. Well, right behind you, because you're not the next row. That's the next row, right there. Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to ask how you
I'm
view...
sorry, I didn't see... Okay, go ahead. You can start. I thought I hadn't seen you. I'd seen it, but you can go because you're first on that row. So.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
As a well-oiled machine, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Thanks. I'd like to ask how you view recent escalation of tensions between Japan and China. You've been known for your tough rhetoric towards China over the years.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you very much for doing this. On phase 2 in Gaza, when is the soonest that we could see that being implemented? And then separately, bear that position with a possible military intervention in Venezuela. Thank you.
Well, first of all,
State Department officials have recently met with visiting AFD officials from Germany, and we're hearing from AFD members as well as analysts who see the national security strategy as an effort by the administration.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for all your time here today. An issue I believe is close to your heart, Cuba. Is it the policy of the United States to seek regime change in Havana? And should we see the developments that are going on right now with Venezuela, the U.S. policies, as part of an effort to bring down the communist government? And if I may briefly, do you stand by your statement earlier this year that nobody has died from U.S. aid cuts?
Spoken with the opposition leader repeatedly over the years. When was the last? And then shifting gears a little bit, the State Department mentioned earlier this year some free speech concerns, particularly in Europe. What are some goals you have in regards to that in 2026?
That I didn't get to you. Oh, I'm in the new row. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. You have previously said in the past that you and the administration are committed to fixing the backlog of visas for foreign-born priests and other religious workers, whether that be through the Religious Workforce Act, or through maybe a standalone process.
To Belarus, according to that country's leadership. We've heard from a number of European leaders, the Chancellor of Germany himself, that they think this era of Pax Americana is gone, that they are needing to prepare to be.
With all due respect for my colleagues, I'm going to ask this one in Spanish.
Okay.
Señor secretario, usted acaba de decir que no espera o que no es la intención de Estados Unidos que las diferencias con el presidente Gustavo Petro generen afectaciones para la relación con Colombia, pero la verdad es que sí las han generado. Colombia fue desertificada, el presidente Donald Trump ordenó suspensión de recursos de cooperación para nuestro país y ya se están viendo consecuencias.
Okay, it's not just his mouth. So it's like he's got cotton mouth. Yeah, because every time he takes a sip of water, he swishes it all around his mouth, you can see, and then swallows. But he's also, the blinking is what I noticed more in the mouth. Like he blinks like a lot. And then he's touching his face. He's moving things in and out of his like breast pockets. Like he just doesn't seem comfortable. Like, does anxiety or something like that cause dry mouth? Is there anything that like would make sense? I have no clue if it does or not. I'm just wondering. Like,
I was thinking cocaine.
Yeah, he's a South Florida guy.
I mean, he just keeps like licking his lips. He's moving his lips around. He's like,
Maybe
I
it's
was
not
thinking cocaine.
Maybe it's like some kind of amphetamine, Adderall or something like that.
Yeah, because he was talking really fast, and he was like 2 hours long was his press conference, and he mostly took cut questions. And in between questions, like during questions, when he was answering them, he was talking fast and furious. He couldn't stop touching his face and licking his lips and drinking water, and like he was yeah, I was thinking he was just either awkward or he's on cocaine or amphetamines or something like that.
Yeah, he's just an awkward guy. He doesn't seem comfortable up there is my main takeaway. Like, so like when somebody's fidgeting a lot, they're not comfortable. Like someone who's comfortable can stand there at the podium calmly and talk to you. He doesn't look. He looks nervous about something, is what I would say.
I've never seen him like that before, though.
I'll bet if we go back and look at other clips, because like I said, if you see the clip of him giving the State of the Union response, it was worse than that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
Anyhow.
Okay. I have one more thing. And I don't know why, but this just makes me smile. Every time I see Oklahoma is last or near last on something.
We're near last in everything. Education, health, income.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. You name it. Oklahoma's bottom of the barrel.
Pull up that screenshot I sent you there.
Oh, God.
I'm going to pull it up myself. So Oklahoma is number 45 in healthiest states in 2025.
Number 45.
Now they're taking into account physical inactivity, smoking rates, air quality, right?
Perfect.
Which Oklahoma's 45. Colorado is 12, but I have a feeling that's a lot of that is due to the air quality because we get all those the wildfires come through here, and we get the smoke, and we had like at one point we were the worst city for air quality 2 years ago, I think it was in the summer. Like the skies was cloudy.
Real quick, it'd be fun to hold this map up next to a like the election map that shows red and blue states, because like I feel like every red state is either 30 or above when it comes to and all the 30 and belows are blue states. It's just what it looks. Just my initial look at this map.
Well, look at the map. Like starting with Louisiana is 50, Texas is 40, Oklahoma 45, and then you just have that line of Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. Those are the most unhealthy states in our United States.
And then South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida are all 30 through 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a direct correlation. Like the best states. Number one, is that Vermont or New Hampshire? New Hampshire and Vermont, and what's that other state? The top three are all right there.
Massachusetts.
Okay, so New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, all vote blue. 1, 2, and 3. Where's number 4?
Connecticut.
Connecticut, I don't know. I think they vote blue, but I'm not positive on that.
Yeah.
5 is Utah, which Utah's a red state, so they got one in the top 10 there.
Okay.
6 is Minnesota, 7's Washington State, and then 8's back over there. That's probably Maryland-ish. What is that?
Yep, Maryland.
Where's 9?
Where's
I don't see number 9.
They're missing 9.
It's on there. We're just missing it. Or maybe we cracked the code. There is no. Oh, 9's Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. And then to round out the top 10, number 10 is
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay, so I'm going to say 1 out of the top 10 is a red state. The rest are all blue.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And you guessed, I think the last 30 states or the last 20 states are red states.
Probably most of the last 30 are red states.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a blue state that's got poor health. Like Michigan is 33, and that's kind of a purple state right now. It goes back and forth. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, that's not shocking. Yeah, I can't wait to not live in Oklahoma anymore. Like I'm here for like 8 more years because my kid's got 8 years till she goes to college. And if she goes to college out of state, like actually I'm here for more than 8 because I got to stay here till my wife retires. But like once my wife retires, like I don't know where I'm going to live. Someplace that's cheap, hopefully, but it's not going to be Oklahoma. And we've talked about it. I don't think I could move back to Texas at this point. Like Colorado seems like a great place to live, but the cost of living is ridiculous. So I don't see that
A
happening.
little expensive. Denver area is really expensive. Denver, Boulder. Yeah. It just cracks me up when I see one of these charts, and Oklahoma is always in the bottom 5.
Yeah. It checks out. As somebody who's been here for 4 years, let me just tell you, it checks out. I agree with what the polling says. So,
fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, anyhow.
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, looking forward to this week. We talked about it. Shutdown. Suddenly tomorrow, shutdown's going to be all over the news. They're going to be talking about this shooting today and the upcoming shutdown because I don't see if 6 Democrats decide to vote with Republicans and pass the ICE funding, and it's going to come down to the Republicans are going to try to frame this as the left just wants to shut the government down, and the left is going to say no. We want to pass all these other spending bills, but in order for us to pass the ICE one, there needs to be changes at the top, and people held accountable, and it's a matter of who can win the messaging. Based off the Renee Good shooting and the Alex Pretty, whatever his name is, I gotta think they're gonna win this. But Trump won't cave. To please the Democrats, somebody's got to go down. With Kristi Noem maybe, or Greg Bovino, or somebody needs to go down, and it's just a matter of is Trump willing? Like he looks at it in a way where if he gives in on one person in his mind, then they're going to be really hungry for more. They're going to see that it works and they're going to keep coming after people. So he feels like you can never fire that first person.
Well, if we get rid of Kristi Noem, he's just going to put somebody just as awful in there. And I think there needs to be a whole rewrite of how ICE operates.
Yeah.
That's what, if I was in charge of the Democratic Party, that's what I would be pushing for.
So real quick, ICE has only been around since the Patriot Act, like after 9/11. That's when ICE got formed. Before ICE, it was something called INS, Immigration Naturalization Services, or something like that. And like and we were too young and we weren't paying attention at this time, but the way that I understand it is like INS would show up at like a local police department and be like, hey, there's a legal immigrant here who's convicted of this and that. Like, we need to go get him. And like they were not like an armed force. Like they were almost like clerical people who would then go with the local police force to make that arrest and then shepherd him back to wherever he's going to be detained or whatever. That's the way INS worked for the entire time things were going along. The Patriot Act caused ICE, and it was about going after terrorists. What if terrorists are trying to get into our nation? I think we need we could still call it ICE, but we need to get back to the feds working hand in hand with local law enforcement and not terrorizing the streets. I don't know what we got to do to make that happen. So
why do they need guns?
Yeah. Also,
why does ICE need guns?
Oh,
Have they shot anybody that was actually like trying to harm them or get away or?
the two that they shot in Seattle, remember right after Renee Good, we found out that there was a guy and a girl shot in Seattle in a car, and DHS was claiming that it was a Tren de Aragua gang member from Venezuela and a prostitute for Tren de Aragua. The media was saying, no, this is a married couple that are Venezuelan. And that all went away. They both got shot. And it was there's another one of those where DHS claimed it was defensive shots. There was no footage that ever came out. I don't know if nobody has it on video, but like that one kind of went away. So that makes me wonder, like, were the cops, was that a righteous shoot? Were they justified and the media dropped it because of that? Or was it just that we didn't have cell phone video? So like, that one's the one where like, oh, maybe they actually were, maybe the guy tried to mow him down with his car and they shot him several times, and who knows? We never
Maybe
saw video
ICE
of that.
doesn't need lethal force at all.
The thing is, like the Michael Brown protests in like 2015, like Obama's last year, that kid Michael Brown got killed by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, right outside of saint Louis. And that was the first time that we all saw, like on live TV, like the police force started showing up in like army gear. Like they were dressed like the army. They had army vehicles. Like, and a lot of people said at the time, like, hey, this will escalate the situation just in what they're wearing, the equipment they have. Like, that's not how you do it. That's escalating. And since then, like local police forces have been heading more and more in that direction. I live in a small city, and down at our little like city, that's one building that's like the city hall, the police department, and the fire department are all in one building. And parked out back, they've got I think it's called an MRAP, but it's a big army vehicle that like I guess they use for SWAT type things. But it's like, why does this little city have that army vehicle? But they got it. So right there, if ICE was running around in like jeans, like those FBI jackets that are like blue and say FBI on them, if ICE was wearing jeans and like a sport coat or a blade, or what was like a windbreaker jacket like that, and maybe like one gun on their hip for they're law enforcement, I get it, and a badge and not a mask on their face. Like I think those steps right there it'd be a whole different atmosphere. Like it wouldn't be the war that we have going on right now.
And they weren't going door to door harassing people.
Yeah, well, as JD said, I mean, yeah, we go door to door. I mean, screw the Fourth Amendment. Let's just go door to door. So, anyhow, real quick, and I just want to say this: we can fix ICE all we want, but like we've been trying to pass an immigration bill since the early '90s, and we can't do. We got really close under Biden. The Democrats and Republicans came up with a compromise bill that was gonna pass, and then Trump found out it was gonna pass, and he didn't want Biden to be the first the president to actually get it done. So he told Republicans to kill it, and they did. It was a good bill, and even for Republicans, it was a good bill. But if you go back in time, from the time of America starting until like 1971, I think that's the date. I might be off by a year or two, but we had migrant labor that like every spring would come across the border from Mexico and work the fields and all that. And then when that harvest season was over, they would just go back to Mexico. And that's how it went forever. And then in 1971, we had the immigration bill. That's pretty much what we're still operating on. And it really clamped down on the border, and it made going back and forth across the border very hard to do. So because of that, the Mexicans came over here and they just stayed because, going across the border is sketchy. So let's just stay. And like, that's the current problem. Like if we allowed seasonal, which I think it's like H-2B visas, is for seasonal workers and all that. But if we made that a real easy process, like the ranchers, the farmers, they all say they need the migrant labor. So if we let them come over and work for 6 weeks or whatever and do the harvest, and then they can go back home to Mexico, like to me, that would solve a lot of the problem we're having right now. Like, why not do that? But nope. So it was roughly in 71 when this all got screwed up by the immigration bill. So just throwing that out there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that a Reagan?
That would have been, it was either Ford or Carter, probably. I'm trying to think here. Yeah. It would have been after Nixon. Probably Ford.
Okay.
So anyhow, just a little bit of history for you. It's always the law of unintended consequences. We do something that we think's good, and then later you find the ramifications of it are bad.
No, Richard Nixon was president from 69 to 74.
Did he do an immigration bill?
Bill. Let's see.
Yeah, 1969, Operation Intercept against Mexican drug trafficking, which increased border scrutiny and militarization. He also addressed illegal aliens, particularly from Mexico. Yeah, so it was in 69. So I said 71. I was off by a little bit.
Yeah, interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, just a little bit. So it'd be nice if they could just come over here by themselves, leave their family at home for 6 weeks, come over here, work, make some money for your family, take that money back to Mexico. Like that's how it went for a long time, and everything was fine. So now, if you're going to America to work, you got to take your whole family, and you can't go back and forth because every time you cross the border, you risk getting caught. So you come over once and you stay forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need that labor.
Too bad they killed Biden's immigration bill. We would have
Yep.
been in much better shape, huh?
It was Senator James Lankford from Oklahoma. We have two senators, and one of them is a complete moron, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, which he's been out all day. He went on Fox News and he's been doing videos into his phone for TikTok and Twitter and all that. But he's like, this was a totally justified shooting. But I hate that guy. Our other senator is not a bad dude, James Lankford. He's a Republican, but he doesn't ride Trump's, he's not all over the Trump train. I don't mind that guy. He and like a couple of Democrats put this bill together. They negotiated it, and both sides were willing to do it. It's just dumb. So anyhow,
because Trump and what's his dumb face wanted
Stephen Miller.
Yeah, wanted to put together an ICE army. I mean, this is Trump's army. That's what it is.
Yeah, this is. I hate it when people use the word Nazis and all that, because like we're gonna lose all meaning for Nazis if we call everything a Nazi. But like Joe Rogan referred to ICE as Trump's personal Gestapo like a week and a half ago, and like I don't think I know a better word for it. Like I kind of wish I had a different word to use, but like it's his own private police force that seem to be willing to do whatever he tells them to do. Like that's weird. Like I don't love that at all.
Yeah, you're right. Murdering American citizens.
It's a modern day Gestapo. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think it's the best way to describe it.
Going door to door, checking papers. Yeah, that is very accurate, I think.
Yeah, that's anyhow. That's all I got for tonight, man. Let's hope that the Democrats use their leverage with the spending bills this week and get something done on ICE, some kind of reforms. They have to wear body cams. They can't wear masks. Like, give me some kind of win. I'll take anything. If they just make it to where the funding bill will pass, but ICE can't wear masks anymore, like, okay, that's better than nothing. Like, let's do that. Give me something.
Well, I mean, from some of the videos I've seen, they're tear gassing American citizens who are protesting, which makes no sense. Like, there's no videos of the protesters like doing anything wrong.
There's a video of Greg Bovino in Minnesota, and he gets out of the car, and they're all screaming and yelling. People are screaming at him, and he goes, "Okay, here comes the gas. Here comes the gas. Okay, that's twice," and then throws a can of gas at him. And it's like that's twice was in about 4 seconds. Like, okay, yeah, for legal reasons, he warned him twice, and then he threw the gas. But like when you see that video, it's like, okay, these are terrible tactics. Like, what are we doing here?
And that just throws away the First Amendment. Yeah. He's not adhering to the First Amendment.
He also, in that case, what was funny is it's one of those where I would think these people are trained on this, but the wind was blowing at him and he threw the gas at them and the gas all came back where he was. So it was kind of comical in that way.
I want that video.
Yeah, I'll find that for you. So, all right, let's get to bed. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you here in a couple days, man.
All right, brother. Later.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.